Here's your news for February 15th, 2020. We're kicking off today with news from SmackDown, as following the ratings pop for Goldberg last week, the WWE pulled out another superstar from the past for another interview via satellite. This time it was Hulk Hogan who appeared, as the former world champion has reported to be working the upcoming Super Showdown event and was interviewed by Michael Cole. Promoting the NWO's upcoming Hall of Fame induction, Hogan also spoke about the Goldberg-Fiend match on February 27th and notably put over Goldberg's chances of winning. These comments drew the attention of Wyatt, who cut in NWO style and teased adding the Immortal One to his ever-growing list of victims, though Hogan responded with a threat of his own, saying he'll see us in Tampa for WrestleMania 36. Goldberg was also announced live and in person for next week's SmackDown ahead of his Super Showdown match, and this will likely lead to his first face-to-face confrontation with The Fiend. Also on SmackDown, Carmella got her SmackDown Women's title match after winning the Fatal 4-Way No. 1 Contenders match last week, and WWE wasted no time by kicking off the show with a moment of bliss. That segment led to the title match between Bayley and Carmella, and while the company teased a title change multiple times, it was Bayley who retained, using leverage from the ropes to get the pin. Attacking the Staten Island Princess and gloating with the goalpost match, this beatdown was cut short by Naomi, who confronted the champion and, alongside Carmella, quickly took Bayley out. The WWE announced that Bayley will put her title on the line at Super Showdown, the second women's match in Saudi Arabia, and that she'll defend against either Naomi or Carmella, who will face off on SmackDown next week to decide the former Hugger's opponent. Now, WWE Champion Brock Lesnar is a busy man, so he doesn't exactly have time to deal with delivering messages out of the ring. Instead, that role falls to his advocate Paul Heyman, and following a comment by John Cena where the 16-time world champion described Brock as the greatest of all time, Heyman responded in a very unique way. In the image, a young Lesnar is shown destroying Cena on SmackDown, as it's apparent that the Beast neither needed nor wanted validation from Big Match John. Cena will return to SmackDown for the February 28th show, which will reportedly kick off his road to WrestleMania. And while there are plenty of interesting options for him, Lesnar is already booked, as he'll be defending his title against Drew McIntyre. Speaking of veterans in WWE, Matt Hardy said goodbye this week, and while he'll be back on Raw next week, that wasn't the original plan. Originally, Hardy being attacked by Randy Orton was supposed to write Hardy off for good, but according to PW Insider, WWE's creative team changed their minds. The report goes, PW Insider is told that a creative direction was decided upon over the last 24 hours, as Hardy was not originally slated for Raw and had even tweeted a goodbye message on social media. According to Brian Alvarez, the Hardy-Orton segment was the second highest rated portion of Raw this week, which is likely why the creative team kept the former ECW champion around for another week. On next week's Raw, Hardy and Orton will meet in a no-holds-barred match, which will likely be Hardy's last match with the company before his contract expires. From one veteran leaving to another returning, as according to PW Insider, The Big Show will be returning to Raw next week. The 7-foot star recently returned last month to help Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe take on Seth Rollins in the AOP, though the trio lost the first-ever WWE fist fight when Rollins recruited Murphy to join his flock. That return marked Show's first in-ring match in 2 years, and while Show was written off TV after the loss to Rollins and the AOP, Kevin Owens did tease that the Giant would be back for revenge. Between the Big Show's return and the Hardy-Orton match, there will be plenty for fans to tune in for on next week's Raw, which will air from the Angel of Winds Arena in Everett, Washington. More return news now, as after several years away from WWE, Harry Smith may finally be back. We previously reported that Smith's father, the British Bulldog, may finally be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and according to Brad Shepard, the talks between WWE and the Smiths could lead to Harry returning to the company. Harry, who wrestled under the name David Hart Smith several years ago in WWE, surprised a lot of fans when he appeared on WWE's The Bump this week, as he was joined by Natalya and Tyson Kidd, who went over some old Hart family memories. Now competing as Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry still appears for MLW where he is under contract, but expect WWE to make him quite the offer when the opportunity arises. Back to WWE now, and Andrade was suspended for 30 days following his first wellness policy violation. And while he kept his United States title during the time, his days as champion may be numbered. Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated noted that sources told him that Andrade is set to drop the title very soon, though it's unclear whether his suspension had anything to do with it. He said, "From everything I've been told by contacts within WWE, the recently suspended Andrade's days as the United States champion are numbered. His 30-day wellness policy suspension expires on February 27. There have been reports of a mask versus hair match between Andrade and Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, but given what's happened, the encounter is unlikely." Now the real question is whether El Idolo will make it to Tampa with the WWE United States title. We've got some more departure news now, as Cathy Kelley has confirmed her exit from the WWE after this weekend. Kelley came to WWE after being a big name on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and soon became a mainstay backstage conducting interviews. After working on SmackDown and NXT, Kelley was reportedly supposed to be a correspondent for WWE Backstage, though nothing came of the role, and she's instead focused the majority of her time on digital content, such as a recent interview with Simone Johnson. On Instagram, Kelley revealed her reasons for leaving, saying it was a difficult message to get across, but she's ready to start a new chapter of her life. She wrote, "I've typed out and deleted this about 20 times over the past few days, still unsure what to write. I've come to the decision to leave WWE, with Sunday's NXT TakeOver being my last day. If you know me, you know this was more than a job, you know how much I loved it and how difficult this decision was. But sometimes, in order to have room for growth, you have to step away. I'm so thankful for getting to live out a crazy dream the past 4 years. Thank you to the WWE digital team for being a platform that never stifled creativity. Thank you to Stephanie McMahon for being a mentor and inspiration in every way. Thank you to Triple H for heading up the best wrestling show currently on TV and letting me be a part of it. And thank you to everyone who has supported me, whether it's watching a video I've done or sending a tweet of encouragement. Words cannot begin to express how much it means. I'm not sure yet where my next chapter will take me, but I'm damn excited for it. And I promise this isn't a goodbye, it's just a see you later." Kelley has also contributed to Sam Roberts' show on SiriusXM, as well as working on shows such as Gen Y TV, the Open House television show, and Juice TV's Hot Off the Press. According to the PW Insider, Kelley gave her notice in the last few weeks, and the report stressed that WWE respected her decision to leave. It should be made clear that WWE isn't releasing Cathy Kelley, as she's continued to be used in highlighted spots, such as the aforementioned interview with The Rock's daughter Simone. Joining the WWE in 2016, Kelley had a very impressive resume before WWE and has added quite a few items to that list while with the company. She cut her teeth in the wrestling business with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, but time will tell what's next for the popular interviewer. We've got an update on the legal case of Bret DiBiase, as the son of the $1 Million Man was recently connected to a huge fraud and embezzlement scheme which has affected his Hall of Fame father. Now, the Clarion Ledger reports that the state of Mississippi gave Ted DiBiase's Heart of David ministry over $200 million in welfare money following the ministry being opened by DiBiase over 20 years ago. It was also reported that the ministry was under some serious financial woes until they hired Bret as their deputy administration, and that payment started in May 2017, including one payment of $900,000 to the Heart of David ministry from the Mississippi Department of Human Services. Bret was recently arrested along with 5 others for allegedly stealing over $4.15 million in welfare money, and this huge embezzlement case has now seen the $1 Million Man's charity be named in the case. From the $1 Million Man to the man now, as Becky Lynch recently commented that she should be making more than Vince McMahon. Her assessment is that since she's the biggest star in WWE, at least in the women's division, then she deserves the top pay. And although the Raw Women's Champion is rumored to be making a lot of money, it might not be as much as the boss. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that Vince historically makes less than WWE's top stars from a salary standpoint, but usually makes more through paying himself on stock dividends. It's no secret that top names in WWE do make a lot of money, and the report said that both Lynch and her friend and rival Charlotte Flair are making serious dollar. They said, Lynch and Flair are believed to be the two highest paid women in the company, with the belief each signed a $1 million guarantee. This believed $1 million downside guarantee figure doesn't include any royalty money, so it's likely the Queen and the Man are making a lot more than that. Even with WWE's troubling 2019 fourth quarter financial report, company executives still brought in some hefty bonuses, and WWE superstars can make a lot of money guaranteed as long as Vince McMahon is handing out huge contracts. With that said, when all of the money is counted, it'll be hard to make more than Vince McMahon while working as an independent contractor for his company. More money news from WWE now as the company's stock plummeted after the axing of their co-presidents, as Michelle Wilson and George Barrios had a different view from the company that conflicted with Vince McMahon's. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that though a full explanation is yet to be given, there is word that Wilson and Barrios had issues with how McMahon was buying up as much talent as he could. The report reads, within the company, it was said that they were against the idea of signing up talent that wasn't being used, and the much higher talent expenses to keep anyone and everyone from leaving, which lowered the profit margin that Wall Street was expecting from the big TV windfall. Simply put, the stock price fell because the profit margins weren't there, and then Wilson and Barrios were eventually let go. It's clear that McMahon has a much different long-term view for WWE, which includes claiming every pro wrestler they possibly can. To be fair to Vince, he also doesn't want to see any of his superstars leave the company, as after nearly being crushed by his own creations in WCW, the boss doesn't want to come close to that happening ever again. Back in the ring now, and King Corbin is not exactly a graceful king, though after treating one of his subjects particularly badly, the Lone Wolf has been pulled up on his actions. After dumping a beverage on a fan's head during last week's SmackDown, the WWE announced that Corbin received a heavy fine for his actions and wasn't allowed to compete this week. Of course, the fan was a plant played by All-Pro Wrestling promoter Marcus Mack, and it's highly likely that the king wasn't fined at all, and that this is all just part of a storyline. It was an interesting way to explain Corbin's absence from the ring last night, and we'll have to see where WWE goes from here regarding their King of the Ring. And finally today, we've got some news from next week's SmackDown as the road to WrestleMania continues. During this week's SmackDown, it was announced that Lacey Evans will sit down for an interview with Renee Young on next week's show, in what will be a rare appearance for the Canadian as a special contributor for the Blue brand. The sassy Southern Belle hasn't been featured much since her loss at the Royal Rumble, and with the SmackDown Women's title picture pretty full, fans can expect Evans to have plenty to say on the road to WrestleMania 36.